Breathless by Aerith the Flower Gal. Chapter 1. Prologue. When looking for a fresh start, Cloudstrife moves to Midgar, looking for no other than comfort from his mother's passing due to geostigma, when he meets Aerith Gainsborough by accident in the slums, a cheerful young and carefree girl who seems mysterious. Soon they become friends and fall in love. But when Aerith tells Cloud she's dying from the same thing that took his mother, Cloud's past resurfaces, a past he was already trying to run from. Will Cloud be able to find a cure in time, or will he lose Aerith to the life stream? Who is this kid Dainsel, and can he help them? Middle piles of metal were rusting. The smell of decay filled the air. Oil scattered about, almost like rotten smells. Each pile having a different non-valuable metal, such as copper and rods. The city was built with a lower plate, with the main upper plate, and was the most advanced place in all the world. From the top to bottom, it was believed that it was sucking out the planet's life, with what we call the Mako reactors, sucking the planet's life source, also known as the life stream. The life stream coursed through the planet, back and forth between life and death, which made it possible to age and grow older. It was said that when the plant, animal, or human died, that's where they ended up. With those things in mind, please read further and enjoy. Cloud's point of view. Everyone has their own stories to tell. Stories from the heart, stories of romance, stories of betrayal, even stories of rare circumstances. Stories are a normal part of life. They are meant to give us hope, a new look on life, most of all to help us, which came to this. There had to be some form of mistake. The test results couldn't be correct. They aren't. I wanted to deny they were, yet the fact remained the same. No matter how many times you try to change the test results, they always end up the same. Do you know those moments where you play at something and end up with similar results? Where you want to change something, you know you can't, because the circumstances won't allow it to? Was I just being selfish? Aerith was dying, and call it selfish if you want, but I didn't want her to leave me. I closed my eyes as the grief took its course. Within me, tears recreated themselves, with sobs taking control, with the wet red lines and hurt took its hold. It was like a cool air in the midnight chilly sky, or an undercurrent of waves that beat itself against the wet sands of the ocean, pulling you up, swallowing you almost, with no way to break free of the terribleness left in you. After a storm of sea hits, that's how I felt almost. Why did it have to be her? Her beautiful smile, her green emerald eyes, the way she smiled when she let out a laugh, the child personality she carried, with almost no care in the world, the brightness of the light that shined in her eyes. Everything made sense, and yet it couldn't make any sense at all. Beautiful, sweet Aerith was dying. I was confused and wanted to run, to pull the bed covers over my head, telling myself I would be okay, hoping this had been some kind of bad nightmare that had gone terribly wrong. To run, not to believe it was going to happen, but each day I could feel her slipping from me. No, I couldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow it. But the unsaid words remained unsaid. One of those moments. You're at a loss and you don't know what to say, how to act, or how to respond. Almost like it was twisting your tongue, with more of a word twister, where words couldn't be put into it. Almost like a horrifying film, but you were in it, where you're the main character. You're leading this person's life. But the violence can and will ruin it all, where the sadness cannot be put into a little amount of sad words. They all say each person has a different background, story, a story only they can tell. I do what I can to not leave out the main detail. Most of all, This is mine and Aeris' story. A story of romance, a story of betrayal, and most of all, a story of suspense. Please read no further if you don't like stories that pull the strings to your heart. But read with an open mind. It will make you laugh, maybe make you cry, maybe confuse you. Don't say that I wouldn't or couldn't warn you. Aerith point of view. Cloud shook me, as almost to say, please don't go. But how much fight was left in me, I couldn't say for sure. Hoping that by some mere stroke of luck, I could stay with him. Hoping, wishing, and holding on. Wanting to know I maybe escaped this fate. But even fate isn't always kind to those people like us. Call it what you will. But I wasn't going down without a fight. I opened my eyes as I felt the warmth press feeling engulf me. Almost feeling some small ounce of strength return to me. Almost like Cloud wouldn't allow me to give up on him. I knew I was dying. No care or cure was known to this disease. The only thing that was known was this disease was almost, or if not entirely fatal. Yet it was taking its hold on me. If Cloud didn't show his emotions, he sure would act out the feelings instead. Sometimes I wondered if I made the right choice in telling him. I know most people think it is the right thing to do, is tell someone when you know you're dying. But in my case, it was more of not wanting him to act strange around me. Aerith, can you hear me? Asked Cloud. I slightly opened my eyes, as the light slightly fell upon my face. Air escaped my lungs, followed by gasps and coughs. I laid back down against the wall. Then finally I gathered up my courage to say it. But first I knew he needed an answer. He yet didn't know I was dying. I looked at him, with my eyes looking around the areas that had now completely surrounded us. Whoa, wait a minute. I forgot to start from the beginning, falling backward a little. We were in the church, which was located in Sector 5. Located in Sector 7 was a bar known as Seven Heaven. The bar belonged to Tifa Lockhart's family, or the Lockhart's family, also known as Tifa Lockhart. Section 1 had a train station. We were in 5, and each section was different and unusual in its own way. I lived in Sector 5, which was well known for its flowers. It was a small building and was starting to fall apart, yet it was beautiful in its own way. Benches were broken and reached down a long hallway, with floorboards and nails pulled upwards. In the middle of this was a flower bed. Flower boards were neatly stacked off to the right, with a hole near the rooftop, with sunlight that falls softly and nicely upon the flower bed. Most of Midgard you couldn't grow anything, not even weeds could grow, which made this building unique. Flowers bloomed of every color here, rich colors like white, blue, yellow, red, and purple. Very often I replayed the story in my head. I hope you enjoy it. This is the day I met Cloud. The very same day he fell on top of me through the rooftops, down to the flower bed below. Most of all, the very same story of how we came to be, where it all started.